No, it starts at 6:15. It's going to show. Why is it on late? Oh, traffic.
Checking in or chowing down?
I know. I always say traffic. It's always excuses.
Finally, I met Susan Meiselas, and her war photos convinced me because I went to Nicaragua even when I hadn't written back on camera. And I saw that a lot of it still looked like her photographs. And I thought, oh my God, it's so beautiful and magical. And I was so moved by that country. And
I'm a long-time human rights activist, and I'm Nicaraguan on my father's side. So when I was offered the opportunity to host the screening, I jumped at the chance. This film comes at a critically important time, as April 18th marked the one-year anniversary of the crisis in Nicaragua, when thousands of people organized and participated in peaceful rallies to protest the decision by the government to slash Social Security benefits. The government of Daniel Ortega responded with violence, repression, and a crackdown on human rights. And now this uprising has turned into a new movement to restore democracy and protect the rights of the Nicaraguan people. And women are in the forefront of this fight. I'd like to ask you about your interactions with the women. How did you reach out to them? I mean, was there any kind of resistance on their part to be featured in the documentary? Did they trust you immediately?
yeah, they did not trust me, but for good reason, I'm sure, as you can see. Many of them are fighting and were already enemies of the current government, even back in 2014. So it was a 4 or 5 year process from when we began filming. I actually reached out to some of them, I think, in 2013. I read Joconda's book, I read some of Sophia's interviews online, and was so moved and just blown away by the way they could speak, by the way they existed, by their writing. And I hadn't even met them, but I just had a feeling from the way that they wrote that the way that they would live somehow would translate on camera. And that we all, at least I knew I had so much to learn from them, so I started looking to see if there was a film, and there wasn't a film at that point. But I tried to reach out to them. I tried everything I could. I reached out to bureau chiefs from the New York Times in Mexico. I got some personal email addresses from journalists. They didn't respond. So 6 months go by as I'm trying to write to them and call them. And finally I met Susan Meiselas. I reached out to her, the legendary artist photographer. Yeah, who knows Susan Meiselas?
Fantastic photographer.
Incredible. Her book is over here. Bonnie brought a copy. It's incredible. And her war photos convinced me because I went to Nicaragua even when I hadn't written back on my camera. And I saw that a lot of it still looked like her photographs. And I thought, oh my God, it's so beautiful and magical. And I was so moved by that country. And even though they didn't write back, I had a feeling if I pushed hard enough and long enough that I could find a way to convince them. And Susan was a huge a person that really was a person of trust for them and enabled me to really, I think. I said, you know, I met with Susan and that she believes the project could be important. And that it's really about your legacies, and that I'll make sure to show you everything that we do and to make sure that you feel okay with it. And so luckily, through those kind of people of confidence, we were able to convince them.